Hi there. That's the best you're gonna get. I just got up and I've been traveling and whatnot. But I did want to do this, and moreover, ugly thumbnails sometimes work good, and ugly landing pages also work very good. So I'm not sure how well this is recording. I do want to say that what you're about to see will blow your damn brains, right? Because I'm sitting here in I'm sitting here in Steve Scott's B&B in downtown Vancouver. Now I thought the damn guy was I thought he was renting the place for a month. I'm gonna go get a cigar and then I'm gonna take you out there. Out there into the hinter blues. Last cigar, by the way. You can't see the dog on the sofa, unfortunately, and that's too bad for you, because it's a great dog. His name is Dre. He's named after Dr. Dre. The problem with this thing is that I don't know if it's gonna work. My stupid, beautiful phone, which is stupid, but beautiful, it's not working. It's not working for the first time in 2 years, 3 years, 10 years in my life. I've not been able to answer my calls or emails for like it's going on 3 days now. This stupid phone. I had it charged, like literally charging all night. And the beautiful guy at the cell phone repair shop, he's like, hey man, the jack is not working. The phone jack, the electronic, what is this thingy? The USB port is not, like, I don't know what to do. I'm beside myself right now. I've got an iPhone that doesn't want to unlock. It's like super glue locked, like Apple style. Anyway, here's the problem right now. See that balcony over there, dear user, viewer, whatever? That's where we're going. It's the best view I've ever seen in my life or will ever see. You'll be like, what kind of damn statement is that? How could you possibly say something like that? Maybe in 2057 you're in a rocket ship going to Mars. Hey, listen, dude. Elon Musk is a strange fellow, but he is a great bedfellow. No, I'm just being stupid. I have to say something about Elon Musk. I have to say, he's an amazing guy, and I hope he's not smoking weed, because smoking weed is what did me in. Smoking weed's not for everyone. According to my elder brother, who's like a director at Goldman Sachs, smoking weed can make certain people psychotic. Now, I myself simply started exhibiting bipolar mania symptoms after smoking weed, but it's like my buddy Steve right now, he's outside smoking a joint. And I told him, if I ever see even a roach around here, forget about it. Right? Because I made a deal with him. I'm writing his autobiography. Well, fuck, it's biography. It's like auto because I'm inside of his damn head, and that's my payment, frankly. He was going to pay me $2,000, and I was like, shit. Like, bro, we'll stay in this fucking place for a month, write your stupid book, and then all that good stuff. Alright, so now here's the problem. Forget all of that. I'm into these long intros or outros. I don't know. Like, if you're watching this, I really appreciate it because on the one hand, like, these videos are for me. It's therapy, right? I talk to you, whoever's watching. And maybe some kid will in 2050 or whatever, right? Stumble upon this thing and say, hey, this is pretty cool. So guys, 2050, Singularity, Ray Kurzweil, and then nanotechnology inside of you. Just something to think about. So we're going to go outside here. And the problem is that this laptop's a beater upper too, right? I'm into beater uppers. Now this is it's a Dell, rather an IBM ThinkPad, okay, and I know I need to change the battery in this, and I think I need to change the battery on the phone, and it's like, shit, I don't want to spend $80 or $60 or $20 or $40 for a stupid battery, and then it still doesn't work, because I would lose it at that point. I'm walking around literally with an iPhone 6, 7, 10X, I have no idea, it's a cool iPhone. I picked it up off the street, right? And obviously it's super glued locked, Apple style. The other phone, and it's like people, like my wife won't return my calls now. It's like she won't return my calls after worrying to death and sending me all these WhatsApp pictures. I don't know if I should or should not be sharing this. Anyway, I'm going out there. If the camera stops, it's like, it's a God move, alright? Because, like, if the laptop doesn't work when I unplug it, then shit, you're out of luck. You are out of luck, not me. You, dear user. Let me just expand the screen here. I can't even see what the hell's going on. It's all dark and stuff. The lighting is never the way you want it to be. That's all I've learned as a filmmaker. Shit, it's not working. It's not expanding. That's alright though. I don't need it to expand. Alright, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Seems to be working. That's Canada Place right across the way. Canada Place. It's like one of these iconic, buildings, like where they have like hockey matches or some nonsense. Well, I don't know if you can appreciate that or not. It's actually pretty cool. It's pretty cool damn stuff, right? And it's like, it's really awesome. As far as I'm concerned, it's the best view. It's the best view I'll ever see. I have ever seen or will ever see. And now I'm happy. So apparently we're not staying here for what is this thing? Apparently we're not staying here for much longer. It's like 2 more days. I don't know if you caught that view. I can't even begin to describe it, frankly. So I got to Vancouver like 3 days ago, something like this. I spent 2 nights at a hotel because I didn't want to be that guy who shows up and suddenly he's sleeping in your guest bedroom with no agreement in place. At least verbal agreement. Problem with Vancouver right now is bicyclists and methamphetamine addicts. Methamphetamine. Now you can tell. Like, see, meth is what the typical person or law enforcement or whatever thinks crackheads are. Like, I've taken, like, I thank God for it. I thank God for it, and I still have my security license to this day. My Ontario Ministry of Community Services, or Ministry of Safety and Community Services, I think is what it's called. They require you to license yourself, go through a 40-hour course, do some CPR, and then CPR training. Takes about a day, and then you can apply for your license. It's like a multiple choice question. The answers are all out there, so it's not that hard to pass. But it's like it's a protocol, it's a formality, so that like you don't have like freaking meth heads and fucking criminals. Sorry for swearing. What is this thing? Thank God I've been sleeping okay. The last couple of nights I slept like a baby. Thank God. Anyway, so they don't want just anyone applying for a uh, security guard license, right? Got a haircut too, by the way. Thanks, Judith. Thanks for nothing. My wife was a, my wife was, is a world-class hairdresser, and yet I have to go to the barber while putting ads up for her once or twice a day. All right, and not even getting the courtesy of her answering my phone calls. I've tried explaining to her that when someone clicks on your ad online, you should try and get in touch with that person within 5 to 10 minutes, at the very least half an hour. That's what that is. There's actually a study, and it's science and all this kind of crap. So yeah, the problem with Vancouver is the bicyclists and the methamphetamine addicts. Now, crack addicts formerly were seen as kind of these crazed zombie-like creatures or some rubbish. Like literally, they taught me in my security training, which was conducted by, I think the guy's name was Brian something. It was Brian something. I was gonna say Wilson, hashtag SMMA. But this Toronto police services veteran, okay, now he and his buddy used to chuck people's furniture off a balcony like this. This is guy's old school, so he's like, you know, Canada's too. I loved him, by the way. He's like Canada, and I told him he was amazing after the course. Like, what an honor it was. I still remember stuff this dude taught me. He said that Canada's too soft on criminals, like, you know, drug addicts and whatnot. They go to a place like this, and I've worked in these condos in Toronto as a security guard in a former life. So they go to these condos and they set up like what is it? I don't know. They just screw things up. Like if they actually set up a business and were running it properly and all this shit, a trap house or whatever, that's one thing. These people show up and they just are on drugs the whole time. And in Canada, apparently, I don't know if this is true or not. I looked into it. I'm not sure how true it is. But what he said is that from September to April, you're not allowed to evict someone. So I don't think it's actually the case. I really don't think so. Because unfortunately I was actually chucked out onto the street with everything like February 2018, and it was actually a turning point in my life. It got me to stop and think, you know, and I was living in a shelter again for the umpteenth time, and I was like, shit, I gotta stop smoking weed because it's ruined my life, basically. Enough adventuring and all this. Right? So there you have it. So that's your view. I guess I'm gonna go back inside, right? I got a customer meeting here shortly, like in a few hours, a couple hours. Let me think, 12:30. So I think probably in 2 hours I have a customer meeting. But before that, I have a Russian lesson with a tutor in Ukraine. Now, what they taught us about crackheads is that they said that these guys, I think there's a term for it. It's called some kind of delirium or something. Basically, these guys have superhuman strength and yada yada, and it takes 5 people to pin them down. And like Brian was insane in a sense. Like he really was a paradigm buster, this cop. He's like, you know, like from September to April, you're not allowed to evict someone, right? Like using due process of law and all this good stuff, which of course I think personally should be applied stringently. Notwithstanding the fact that Brian's methods, him and his buddies, were quite effective. So some poor landlord's having his property destroyed, and there's like all kinds of strange people and prostitutes coming in, people, pimps and prostitutes and peddlers coming in and out of this place for months on end, right? So what would you do? like you put your hard-earned cash into this property, right? And it's getting destroyed. It's like my wife's townhouse in Calgary. I mean, it's like a nightmare, a real nightmare. The worst thing in the world, one of the worst things, is to one of the worst things is to be in a situation where it's like, yeah, man, you're stuck in a bad real estate deal. It's not cool. It's very uncool, right? And so you can actually see the mountains over there. That's where I want to live eventually. But I've realized that it's not. There we go. Mountains somewhere over there. Like, that's all North Vancouver. So what it is yeah, like the real estate, even like renting a room, like shared accommodation or whatever, a room in a house, that's really what I'm thinking of doing to start with, right? So even that stuff is like very expensive. Like when I first moved to Vancouver in 2002, I got a room for like $450, and I've been preaching for years that it's easy to find a place to live. For the first time in my life, it's actually kind of challenging. Like, obviously I'm holed up in this dig, in these beautiful digs for now, but that's really until the 1st, and so today's the 29th, and so thank God for the weekend, right? Anyway, so yeah, man, so that is south, right? It's easy to tell because the mountains are north. And Vancouver, I have to say, is the most beautiful city in the world. It has to be said. It's like something else. Like, just coming back here, I was filled with such emotion. And I was literally walking around, like, overwhelmed. Like, memories, like, you can't believe. Like, I literally cried in front of Steve. He's a bit of a teddy bear himself, notwithstanding the fact that he's the automotive lead king of Canada. Like, he's getting lawsuits and all this kind of crap, and competitors, salespeople are coming over to work for him, and it's just insane what he's accomplished in literally just 6 months, 6 to 8 months. It's just, I mean, it's the reason I'm very interested in studying with and absorbing the man's like mindset, like to answer the fundamental question of like, what does it take to succeed? This dude's a pipe fitter. He's unfortunately what I would call a redneck or a cowboy pipe fitter. That's really what the term would be. I don't even know if redneck applies to cowboys, but you know, who knows? It's Canada. It's not like the South of the States or whatever. So now, guys, so now delirium, excitable delirium, something like this, right? So when a person's under the influence of methamphetamine, not crack, but methamphetamine, that's called excited delirium, etc. Now, apparently when you first take methamphetamine, it's, you feel super confident, super yada yada. Unfortunately, I'm sorry to say, kids at the college you're sending your kids to are taking this crap. Kids at the high school you're sending your kids to are taking this crap. Lots of people are taking this crap because once you take it, it's like literally for 12 hours you feel like God, basically. You're like in a different world. Why? Because your body is flooded with dopamine and serotonin, and literally you cannot feel bad if that's the case. And a person like me who's gone through like the kind of mania of bipolar, chronic bipolar 2 or whatever the hell it is, I'm very familiar with that feeling. Like, you literally are walking in front of cars, bad mouthing and giving the finger to cops, all this kind of crap. And it's like, you think you're unstoppable. You literally think you're unstoppable. I mean, unfortunately, it gets to a point where literally you can be in some kind of drugged out, freaking semi-hallucinatory state or reverie, and you like literally chuck yourself off of a freaking balcony like the one I'm standing on, right? So that's not very cool. That's shit, in fact, right? I mean, I'll tell you something that's very strange. and it may not be for kids, right? YouTube now asks you, is this movie made for kids or not? So I want to, on the one hand, share this with my nephew and nieces and all this kind of stuff, but it's like, I gotta say this. I think that drugs are an escape route. If you must do drugs, if you must drink or do drugs, okay? I mean, literally, the majority of the population is addicted to something. Like, I'm addicted to tobacco and caffeine. And I'm one of the lucky ones. I smoke cigars and not cigarettes, right? So, cigarettes have 50 carcinogens, or rather 50 industrial strength chemicals and 100 carcinogens, right? It's like, it's stupid. It's like a slow death, essentially. They're like called cancer sticks in some circles. That's literally what they are, right? And nowadays, it's like I was telling my buddy Steve, a rational person cannot knowingly inflict self-harm, right? Does that make sense? So the Quran says, don't destroy yourselves. La tahliku anfusakum bi'aydikum. Don't destroy yourself, okay, with your own hands. And some people say, well, this is, a verse that applies among other things to smoking cigarettes, and they may have a point. So I smoke cigars, and I personally believe it's a long discussion, or at least not within the scope of this sad and morbid recording. I personally believe, okay, that cigars are a natural tobacco. You smoke less, you enjoy it more, and it makes your lungs stronger, right? Because it's like the antibody in a virus, or to fight a virus. An antibody is the virus. So people are like, well, smoke is hydrogen, monoxide? And they're right, of course it's poisonous. But in small amounts, it builds your immunity up, and it builds up your body's defenses. Just like in life, God is testing you, or life is throwing like ever-increasing challenges at you. And you're like, wow, what is up with this deal, this whole life thing? It's like it gets harder and harder, and then you're old and senile and blind and deaf, and then you die. Like, growing old is not for wimps, according to Billy Graham, and I think I would agree with him on that. Now, guys, you walk around Vancouver, it looks beautiful from up here. I mean, it's like literally like unbelievable. I dare not even stare at this view for too long because it's so mesmerizing. Would you believe that? It's insanely mesmerizing. And it's such an interesting thing that after 18 or 16 years, I've returned to this beautiful city, and it's like I'm on top of the world, like from the get-go, so to speak. I mean, the problem with that is the only way forward is down, right? So now, best case scenario, me and Steve find a place together, and I offer him the same deal, which is $2,000 for the rent. So that's my book writing fee waived. And then the other thing is 20% of royalties, right? I'm a commission man. That way I'm nobody's slave. And in fact, it's the other way around, the power dynamic. Because if I don't do any work, then it's like, you know how good I am, and so you're the one kissing my butt and running after me. So we're coming up on half an hour, and I try and keep these things under half an hour right now. I wasn't expecting this to go on this long, but there you go. It's the same old story, different day, different city. So now, yeah, you're walking around and you'll see these freaking people everywhere. I was going to say that drugs are an escape route. Everyone's addicted to something, and it's like, if you're about to kill yourself, or you're depressed, or you're going to shoot someone, or you're going to go rob a bank or break some glass or act out, and you know this is going to happen, if you can feel it coming on like you usually can, I think, for most rational people, go do something like smoke a joint. That's what I would say. That's really what I would say. There's arguments, and by the way, I formulated them vis-a-vis drugs and weed, okay? So this is what I say. I say that alcohol is a drug. Being a Muslim, I mean, obviously I'm anti-alcohol. I mean, I'm really on the borderline with regards to whether or not it can even be used for medicinal purposes, right? Literally, like, apparently, I don't know if this is true or not. Apparently, our 60 Imam, peace be upon him, and his family, he was asked by some lady. She visited him from Basra or something, and she's like, listen, I have these stomach ailments, and people are saying that drinking alcohol, okay, is going to help me. And he's like, forget about it. I don't know why or what. He's like, no chance. Right? On the other hand, I've been led to believe that, well, I mean, I guess it would be the case. I'm not sure. I don't know much anymore. Like, the more I appear to know, the less I know. This is really the truth. It's like the Socratic ethic. I know that I don't know. Like, it's literally the case. As you learn more or absorb more, like I'm listening to audiobooks, watching YouTube videos. Steve was asking me again, man, how do you know all this stuff? And I was like, Steve, how do you know all that stuff? I've been through the corporate world for 10 years, working for and selling to Fortune 500 companies. Okay, I've got a business administration undergrad degree, minoring in computer science from the University of Bridgeport, which is one of the only 3 nationally accredited schools in the New York to Boston corridor, the other 2 being the University of Connecticut and of course Yale in New Haven. Guys, I just want to say there's too many meth heads in Vancouver, and if anyone in Vancouver is watching this, I asked a couple of people yesterday and they didn't really have a cogent response. These people are sleeping and smoking in like car parks, carports, doorways, under bridges, on the side of bridges. They're walking up and down the roads because they're out of their minds. They're out of their damn minds. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't want to bad Vancouver. I just got here. Again. But unlike Toronto, which I really encourage you visit, I do have to say that if you come to Vancouver, beware. Fucking beware. Meth heads, guys, I had an argument with my little brother with whom I was staying in Calgary. And I literally just ran out the back door because he is 6'2" and he's a cricket player with trophies, and so that wasn't a fight I was going to win or wanted to have in any case. I went downtown, walked around all night or something, or actually I got off at Calgary Zoo and walked down by the river. Calgary's a beautiful place. They have a meth problem there. It's nowhere near as bad. And by the way, when you hear what happens next, you may even reconsider going to Calgary. I'm sorry, but that's the truth. I was going to take the train back home in the morning. I was on the platform. I see 2 guys, or a guy and a girl, come off the train with their bikes, and they were obviously out of their minds, okay, going through some kind of manic phase. Because in the beginning with meth, I guess, like with most drugs, it starts off great, and then it just turns into hell. Like Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his family said that there's a room with every evil in it, right? And the lock on the door of that room or something, or the key to that room is either, in one tradition he says lying, in another tradition he says intoxication, right? So I guess in Islam intoxication is prohibited. Now I was asking my elder brother and sister, and younger brother for that matter, the other day, like, what is intoxication is now the question, right? Because the 4 things I talk about with regards to weed vis-a-vis alcohol and drugs in general, this is what I say, and it's something to think about. It is something to think about, and it's something to talk to your kids about. Remember, if you don't talk to your kids about drugs and sex and violence and how insane this world is, insanely beautiful, granted, but insane in period, right? I used to say God is intense, and my Christian beautiful wife does not like that. But I think it's true. This universe is intense. I mean, if there is a creator, and there certainly is, if there's an alpha and omega, the first cause, like, this is not chaos. This is amazing. Whatever's going on is amazing. But it's also intense. So whatever we see of manifest extant phenomenon is a manifestation of the first cause, as it were. Like, whatever created this universe, whatever we see is a manifestation of this cause. And that's an argument as to why God must be intelligent, and infinitely intelligent, in fact, because there's no end to the beauty and amazingness of nature and the universe and natural law in general. So weed is not a drug because it's not synthetic, it's not addictive, it's not dangerous, okay, that's 3, and then it's not intoxicating. It's not intoxicating. So now the Quran says, oh believers, okay, do not approach your prayers until, I don't even know if the audio is going to be recording on this thing. There's so much freaking background noise here. I'm just like practically screaming, and then people are like, why do you talk so loud? It's like, fuck, I'm a sales guy or I'm a YouTuber, like, take your pick. or I just like to be heard above traffic when necessary, right? I mean, it goes to what I was saying before. I've been smoking like cigars for literally 20 years, right? And I don't think my lungs are any the worse for it, to be honest with you. Okay, so the question is that of intoxication. So when you have coffee, or if you have a nice meal, or any of a number of other like things that you intake, right? You know what I'm saying, obviously. Like, so, obviously coffee can change your mood. It alters your mood. Now, is that basically like the definitive criteria of intoxication? The Quran says, "O believers, don't approach your prayers until such a time as don't approach your prayers when you're intoxicated until such a time as you can remember yourself." Well, frankly, I've been like out of my mind, blitzed, as per the normal person, okay, your average Joe or Jane, okay, and yet I can remember everything. I think I gotta get in touch with my lawyer in Toronto, Janice Johnson. Hey Janice, if you watch this, she apparently has this mysterious and elusive DVD of me in jail doing and saying things that I do not recall doing or saying. So I'd like to see that, and I've been after it for years, and maybe this will be a reason for me to go and get it. So thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I'll keep you updated, of course. Like, I guess you guys, whoever's watching this, you're really my only friend in this life. And so, just in case I change my mind and decide to jump off of here and end it all, which is not going to happen, by the way, because according to Imam Sadiq, a believer cannot commit suicide. But I'd like to give you a rendition of The End by The Doors. Like, this is Vancouver, where Jim Morrison apparently visited back in like 1968 or something. This is the end, my only friend. This is the end. Wait, hold on. This is the end, beautiful friend. Lot of noise. This is the end, my only friend. The end of all elaborate plans. The end, no safety or surprise. The end, something like that. I'll never look in comments. Appreciate it. Okay, like somewhere like over here is like the, hey, listen, as a marketer, I do not mind dislikes. I love them. In fact, it's the soggy chip principle. Like, kids, if they can't get chips, like potato crisps or chips, if a kid can't get his hands on like a nice bag of chips, then he'll make do with soggy chips. So if your kids aren't getting love and attention, love is just time, by the way. So you give someone time, that's called love. I'll just break it down for you. So if kids aren't getting love and attention, they will seek any kind of attention, and so soggy chips are better than no chips. As a marketer, it's something similar. When you dislike this video, it means I've pushed the button and gotten you to react, which is all a marketer's trying to do. The like button, that's awesome. In fact, I'll be honest with you, I like dislikes more than likes, frankly, because I mean, that's the way I am. Like, as my sister, my beautiful and strange sister would say, hey man, you've got a criminal streak in you. So that's what that is. Now, yeah, so subscribe, I don't really care about. Comments I would love. Thank you for watching, and take it easy, alright? And just think about visiting Vancouver, but don't go crazy and go into debt buying stupid plane tickets and hotel fare and all this crap on your credit card, folks.